guys, welcome back to another episode of the Property Source and Success Show. You may or may not have noticed that we had a 2-week sabbatical, but we are back at it with a bang today. Very, very busy here at my end. We have our quarterly mastermind event live in Belfast kicking off tomorrow. We've got, over 55 active property entrepreneurs, property sourcers, portfolio builders, property investors coming in from Scotland, cities across the UK, north of Ireland, south of Ireland. So it's busy, busy, busy here at our end. But these weekends are always set to be extremely powerful in terms of pushing the business forward for everyone in the room. So I'm really looking forward to it. But on today's episode of the podcast, I want to talk to you about how you can increase your sourcing cash flow. Sourcing fees are lucrative, right? There's absolutely no doubt about that. And the reality is, look, if you conduct your business well, if you treat it like it actually is a business and not a hobby or a get-rich-quick escapade, then there's all the potential in the world for you to do very, very well solely from running a portfolio building or sourcing business. And for context, they are both the same thing. But, and it's a big but, sourcing fees can be lumpy and sporadic. 1 month you might close 3 deals and you might have £15,000 of pipeline coming into the bank. But the next month you might be met with crickets, which, is less than ideal if you're hoping to use your sourcing as the platform to scale your property business and, essentially allow you to break free from employment, which is exactly the reason I got into it 8 years ago. It was to not have to go back to my corporate job whilst I was on maternity leave. And I was really intent on spending that maternity 12 months cracking the nut that was running a successful sourcing business. It worked out well. Now, let's face it, a handful of deals, though, doesn't exactly make you financially free. And I had that very problem, I'd say, for the first maybe six-ish months when I first started sourcing. Many, many moons ago, up to 8 years ago now, whilst I was on track for 6 figures, the revenue was really, really inconsistent and it was very unpredictable. And, full transparency, that didn't sit well with my anxiety, nor was it a great bargaining chip for talking my husband round to the fact that I wasn't planning on returning to the world of employment. And I'm sure you can imagine that was a pretty interesting conversation. But at the time I asked myself the question, look, when I'm not physically sourcing deals and there's a bit of a lull period between completions and deals going through conveyancing, what could I offer my investor clients and potential investor clients that they would actually find valuable, and I could put a price tag on it? There are 3 things, guys, that I implemented and monetized for an average of, I'd say, an extra £2,000 to £2,500 of income per month. That was excluding sourcing fees. So this was in addition to any sourcing fees that I had coming through. And I think this will be really useful for a lot of you guys who are out there. And you're kicking off your sourcing business, you're seeing some traction, maybe you're looking in the growth phase of the business. There are lots of things that you can do to add extra income every month if you think outside the box. I'm going to talk you through the 3 that I used, and you can write this down, get a pen and paper, come back to it. This is going to be super useful. Number 1, I did market research reports. So I offered detailed market research reports that provided insights into my investment area, insights into the strategy trends, the tenant demographic. I talked about info that other investors are actively purchasing in the area and what they wanted to see. I talked about potential investment opportunities. Investors can then use this information to make really informed decisions and maximize their returns when the next deal you present them lands on their desk. So market research reports, 100% something you can offer and put a price tag on. The second thing that I offered was a portfolio management tool. So you can develop a portfolio management tool software. Spreadsheet is totally fine. That's how I built mine. That helps investors track their investments, monitor their performance, and make actual real-time data-driven decisions. This is particularly useful for portfolio landlords of who I worked closely with. You can offer advanced analytics. You can offer advanced performance reporting, real-time alerts to streamline their investment process. When I first started out, I built an Excel spreadsheet from scratch, and I still use it today. I suppose my time as a financial analyst actually came in quite handy there. but it was the Rolls Royce of data analysis. And I used the tool to produce portfolio reports for investors. It looked at their current debt level position. It looked at their current equity. It looked at their net worth. It tracked their mortgage payments, their rents, their portfolio uplift projections over 2, 5, 10 years. This is an incredibly useful service for an investor who is serious about building their wealth, but actually doesn't have the time to crunch the numbers. You can do something similar today, do it to a really first class standard on a variety of different property softwares. As I say, an Excel spreadsheet, if you know your way around it, works just fine. The third thing that I did to bank extra cash every month was, in this particular instance, you can provide personalized investment consulting services where investors essentially consult with you for strategic guidance, specifically in your area, specifically in your strategy, for portfolio optimization and for investment planning. You can offer one-on-one consultations, you can offer strategy sessions and ongoing support to help investors achieve their goals. Now, this is something actually many of our mastermind guys offer as part of their property sourcing services, and it works really, really well. Now, I would caveat that in order to be able to do this, you must have at least 1 year's experience in property and have educated yourself accordingly to be in a position to be able to guide people. Otherwise, it's just a case of the blind leading the blind, and that can be. There are a handful of other services, guys, that you could offer as well as bolt-ons. This is important within your sourcing business, such as viewing services, tenant find services. Now, they're not as financially rewarding, but they are, they're not as financially rewarding, but you can still put a price tag on them. And they are more time intensive. I didn't want to add any more significant time to my working week, which is why I went for the higher level stuff, and because they paid better. So there we have it, guys. The inconsistency of lumpy sourcing months can be 100% leveled out with the addition of a handful of well thought up upgrades to your services. If you have the right investor client on board, they will literally take your arm off for these services simply because they value their own time and they've absolutely no desire to do the heavy lifting themselves. But you can. And after all, it is your area of expertise and you will be handsomely rewarded for the effort. And that makes everybody a winner. The reality is sourcing is exceptionally lucrative. It is a high cash flowing business. It's a high profit margin business. It has the capacity to change your life, but the sky is the limit. And I hope this helps, guys. I hope it helps inspire you with the things that you can do creatively outside purely just sourcing a deal to really uplift your monthly income and take yourself past the 6-figure mark with your sourcing business. With that in mind, guys, I hope you've enjoyed it. If it helps, share it with people. I'm on a mission every single week with our podcast and our daily email blogs to disrupt the world of property sourcing.